What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Eurythmics, and we're back with another live performance from this live compilation of concert performances from 1983 to 1989. Thank you again to Phil. And the next one is Right By Your Side, which is a track from Touch. Now, I remember when I reacted to this, I was surprised. It had a very Caribbean, reggae, tropical or island type of feel to it, which is not a flavor I think I had heard much from them before that. And again, my understanding of the range or diversity of the Eurythmics catalog grew a lot between the time it started until we finished the studio albums at the end of their initial phase, which is still where we are, going through the live performances covering that period now. But yes, the point is, I was surprised by the sonic stylings. I think it's very enjoyable. It definitely has a groovy, let's dance on the beach feel to it, and lines that, speak to an intimacy or a proximity, both like literally and psycho-emotionally, and maybe beyond that as well. So yeah, I do wonder what this will sound like live and whether it'll be terribly different from the album version. Let's give it a listen. This is the Eurythmics. The track is Right By Your Side, and it's from this live compilation released in 1993, but covering a period from 1983 to 1989.
I just wait from limb to limb to relieve this mess I'm in. 'Cause when the passion starts to win, I need to be by your side. Yes, I do. Ooh, no one seems to touch me in the way you do. Ooh, yeah, nothing seems to hurt me when I'm close to you. I'm so full of desire. When you set my head on fire, need to be by your side. Hey, hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Every single one of us needs love, love, love. And my body needs to give and receive love. Every single day I get down, 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 but there's nothing left to feel, and love gets it done. Oh, oh, oh. Ooh, da, da. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm so full of desire. When you set my head on fire, need to be by your
I did remember during that I've also reacted to the music video for this one. Nevertheless, yeah, again, I think it gives a very similar vibe. I feel like Annie's vocals hit a bit different, but I think that's probably just because of the live acoustics. It is interesting. I just did a watch-along of a documentary about the Eurythmics. I think it's been on my Patreon for 10 days, which is to say most things I do on my Patreon, they're initially embargoed so that full members can watch them right away, but they're not publicly viewable for 10 days. I think this was more than 10 days ago. So you should be able to watch it even if you're just a free member over there. Though big thank you to all the paying members. I really do appreciate it, and you do help me a lot, both over there and here on YouTube. But the point is, it's a documentary from the era of their album Peace, I believe it's called, like at the end of the 90s, beginning of the 2000s, when they came back together and made an album. And it's called, I believe, 17 again, if I'm remembering that correctly, which I think that's one of the songs on the album. But it's really interesting because you get a lot of interview material with both Dave and Annie separately, as well as moments or sections where they're, sitting on the same couch and they're like both talking and being talked to. And, Annie and Dave there's a point where he says this, that, she's really interesting because, like when she's not performing, she's actually quite reserved, or she's, kind of quiet, and she is more of a, he didn't use the word guarded, but he indicates she's more of a low-key person, and then on stage, she kind of transforms, and she's, just this really charismatic central figure. And in a track like this, where she's doing all those vocalizations and, rolling her tongue and doing shouts, almost like, reggae toasts and so on, like, it's really interesting seeing her speak very, very calmly and, in sort of hushed tones and so on, because then it's like, wow, like, it's really true. Like, you hear her on stage, or you see her in the music videos, and she's just this dynamo and, this fireball of energy and persona and, visual allure. And then, she gives an interview, and she's, very thoughtful and, just kind of low-key, and again, sitting sort of reserved on the couch, and it just feels like I get the dynamic that they're talking about. But yeah, I definitely pick up on, again, the Caribbean, maybe the African sonic elements here, and, some of the vocal stylings I think fit right into that. And yeah, it just feels very islander, very, beach sounding. And definitely the idea of being next to someone who makes you feel like your troubles are gone, and who can touch you and move you and make you feel in ways that nobody else does. So it's a very appreciative, devotional, and warm type of tune thematically. So I think that fits with kind of the smooth and warm vibes of the song sonically. So yeah, a very cool track. Let me know what you think of the live performance, and we'll see you next time. Peace.